The propaganda technique we'll be looking at today is cherry picking. It's one of the most effective logical fallacies to make even a weak argument seem indisputable. Let's start off with an example to see how it works. In this scenario, Charlie is telling his friend Ryan about a new medication he's taking. He says, "My doctor gave me this new Ozimipin to help lower my blood pressure. He's now recommending it to all of his patients." But Ryan is skeptical about Charlie taking this new medication, so he does some research of his own. Ryan runs an online search for why people should not take Ozimipin, and finds 4 different articles that say Ozimipin isn't effective at lowering blood pressure. The next day, Ryan tells Charlie, "Everything I've read online says that the medication your doctor gave you doesn't work, so you probably shouldn't be taking it." Did Ryan give Charlie the information he needed to make a sound decision? No, because Ryan searched only for information that supported his argument. In this scenario, Ryan fell victim to confirmation bias, which is the tendency to search for or favor information that confirms or supports our own prior beliefs. Had Ryan done a more thorough search, he would have found dozens of articles, including some peer-reviewed studies, that affirm Ozimipin works as advertised. So, Ryan is guilty of cherry-picking information that confirmed his bias. When someone uses cherry-picking, they present evidence that only confirms their position, while ignoring or withholding an often more significant portion of evidence that contradicts it. Like many of the most effective propaganda techniques, cherry-picking relies on information that is technically true, but misleading. Which is one reason cherry-picking is so effective in politics. To see how this works, let's take a look at another example. In a recent debate, when the topic of crime was brought up, the congressman said of his opponent, "The problem that my opponent has is that his record as mayor is one of presiding over a city where crime is out of control, with a record number of murders. In fact, the guy running to succeed him as mayor is sending out literature to voters saying most murders in history last year. Something needs to change." The mayor responds, "I'm glad you asked that question, and I understand people's concerns. But what those voters might not know is that we are now experiencing a 5-year low in our crime rate, and we're on track to be at a 20-year low in the next few years." Are the statements from both candidates true? Technically, they are true, but misleading. While the mayor is indeed presiding over a city with a high murder rate, the overall crime rate has dramatically decreased in recent years. But the congressman focuses just on the murder rate, while ignoring all other crimes. And, while the city is indeed at a 5-year low in crime, the mayor focuses just on the current year, when crime is at its lowest, while ignoring all the other years he's been in office. So, by each candidate cherry-picking the data, he is able to highlight only the data that supports his argument, while ignoring the more significant portion of data that contradicts it. So remember, in order to recognize cherry-picking, you must question whether you're getting all the facts or only the facts they want you to see. And any time you're being presented with statistics, ask yourself if those statistics are being presented broadly or in a way that obscures the larger picture. By doing that, you'll be less influenced and persuaded by cherry-picking when you do encounter it.